Adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill, and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can...
All right, stand by with the open.
All fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Welcome to Fifth Street Sports here on a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Las Vegas. My name's Frank Perez, and I'll be joined today with my co-host, Oklahoma Brian. We are on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. You can find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, at Twitter on Fifth Street Sports, also on the web at FifthStreetSports.com. Well, guys, today I know Brian's Brian's all excited today because we got three segments. The first one, we're going to wrap up the opposite of yesterday. We're going to do the quiet betting angle. Then we're going to do our handicapping and some picks. And then also now on segment 3, it's Brian versus Frank. We're going to give out our 5 selections that we're going to do every week for our contest. So, Brian, how are you, buddy?
Doing all right. Ready for the weekend. Do we know if we're doing a show on Monday yet?
Gosh, it's Labor Day. Andrew, are we doing a show on Monday? We'll get back to it. Oh, they'll get back to it. Boy, I swear there's no rest for the rookies in radio and TV. Well, Brian, today, the first question I'm going to ask you, and I may have to wait till the break because this is the short one, but I'll start it now. I wanted to ask you, yesterday we got some calls and some inquiries on what does it matter to the $100 or $200 player, all that deep info we were given about line moves and leaking.
Yeah, great question.
Shoot. Bad question to start.
I'll give you the answer after the break. How's that?
Yeah, we do. Boy, it's a nice day. We got some really good stuff this week, folks. Stay with us. We know we got a little bit of time here, but that was a bad question to start with Brian because I know he's locked and loaded for this one, baby.
Hey, so how did you play? How was your play last night? I believe it was the
terrible.
Seahawks.
Terrible. I'm like the guy at Western, the most popular telegram at Western Union in Vegas. System going well. Send cash. No good.
Well,
I laid a big egg.
The good news for you is we're not going to count that in our contest. That's a mulligan.
Oh, yeah, I know. But sorry, folks. That one was a dud. But, all right, well, we're getting ready for a great show. We'll be back here in just about 3 minutes. Brian, get ready, buddy. You're going to have the ball. You're going to run with it. This is Frank and Brian from Fifth Street Sports.
Shop Lowe's Spring Black Friday and get great savings.
You're clear.
Outdoor projects popping up on your to-do list. Add beautiful color to pots and garden beds and save with select pine annuals 5 for $5. And grow beautiful flowers and delicious veggies with Miracle Grow Garden Soil. 5 bags are just $10. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 4/18. Actual plant size and selection may vary by store. While supplies last, see store for details. U.S. only.
Everyone likes to, scrapbook. Use Scrapbook on the couch, the kitchen counter, and your favorite place to...
All right, guys, the levels sound good. Keep them right there.
Scrapbooking any better? KY Duration. With KY Duration Spray, men everywhere are scrapbooking longer, and that's great for their partners who really enjoy scrapbooking too. So go ahead, scrapbook tonight with KY Duration Spray for men. Last longer, stay in the moment, use as directed.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's HomeAdvisor. HomeAdvisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, and even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that HomeAdvisor is completely free to use.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
HomeAdvisor.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard Rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and...
All right, here we go, guys.
Things plus earn double points on over 250 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. This is Frank with my co-host, Oklahoma Brian. We are now starting our segment for one of our 3 segments for the day. It's the opposite of yesterday, quiet betting. Brian, I'm going to redo that question for you really quick for all of our guys out there. I wanted to ask you for the show we did yesterday on loud betting and line moves. Like if we got inquiries from $100 and $200 bettors. How does that affect, a small recreational $100, $200 player?
So that's a great question, actually. And we probably should have explained that on yesterday's show, but I'm glad that I have a chance to answer that now. So whether we're playing poker, betting sports, in the stock market, nobody goes to the top of the food pyramid in the first day. But I think if you're going to spend your hard-earned money and time doing something, you want to be smarter at it. And the only way to get better is to understand, how do the pros think? How does a pro go about trying to crack this nut? And just as important, how does everybody else who's involved in this betting ecosystem, from small bettors, big bettors, originators, bookmakers, large bookmakers, small bookmakers, everyone's got a separate agenda, right? And everyone's got a different way of thinking. What's going to put you ahead of the masses is your ability to get inside of the head of everyone else and see this ecosystem from a variety of vantage points. And once you're able to kind of put on the hat of the bookmaker, the small bettor, the large bettor, the follower, we could come up with about 20 different roles. Right. Once you can see things from a variety of different angles, at that point, you're going to become better at understanding why things happen, what's going to happen next, creating better opportunities for market entry. And when you do have to enter the market, doing it in a smarter, better way, picking the appropriate, I think I used the analogy a few shows ago. Think of a carpenter who has an entire tool chest of tools. He doesn't use the same tool. I don't know anything about carpentry, so this is probably a bad example. But if he's building a door versus a park bench, I suppose he's going to use a different set of tools, right?
Right.
Well, a bettor is the same way. A bettor's going to use different tools and knowledge depending on what his task is. So yesterday, we looked at the whole idea of loud betting and fakes, trying to kind of goose the market, manipulate the market based on betting loudly. Today, we're going to go with a completely opposite approach. We're going to look at quiet betting. Why do people bet quiet? What's the point of betting quiet? And that's really what we're trying to kind of uncover in today's show.
So now, but to kind of clarify before you go into it, what you mean by quiet betting is, let's say we've got our sources, our ways, who we're following, where we're getting our info, and now we're ready to start making our plays, or we've been trusted with very valuable information that we cannot lose that line integrity. How do we?
That's right.
How do you, because remember, it's all about stealth at that point, because now it's getting down the amount you want to get down for you or the group or the percentage that you need. How do you get down quietly so that you don't, so you're trusted with, like the code to the red phone,
Right. So we first have to take the approach of, let's take the biggest bettor in this, in this ecosystem, right? The originator, the guy who's trying to get the most down. That guy wants to be incredibly quiet, unless he just has a huge ego and just loves making making a ruckus when he bets. For the most part, that guy doesn't. He wants everything to stay untouched because he might want to go back and bet more later. And he certainly doesn't want people that are booking him to see that his games are that powerful, that they're moving. So I think I used the analogy yesterday of an Olympic swimmer trying to enter the water without making any waves. A bettor's trying to do the same thing. So he's going to try to bet a game in a way that gives him, it's kind of like a risk reward. How much money can I get down versus how much line movement can I tolerate? Some guys are going to get as much as they can down quiet, and then they'll be loud at the very end if they're greedy, if they just want to get every possible penny they can down. Other guys are going to get down all the quiet money, and they might say, you know what, that's all I want. If I can't get it down quiet, I don't want any more because I want to live to bet the next day because I've got an endless supply of these games. So if we're going to jump into, quiet versus loud betting, I think the first thing we need to appreciate is the distinction between screen betting and off-screen betting. And why don't you go ahead and just explain the distinction between screen outs and non-screen outs?
Okay, yeah. Right. Let's clarify it. On the Don Best / Sports Option Screens or Sports Insights, any of your major line services, what they mean by betting the screen is there's going to be Pinnacle, Chris, Grande, Heritage, Five Dimes, Catalina, Bet Online. Those are your major books that for instance, here's an example of a play that we used to do, what he means by quiet betting. So when they say don't go to the screen, that means don't touch those books. Don't, if like the limit in a WNBA game is 158 and they're taking 1,000, you go to Pinnacle and you hit it for 1,000, it's going to go to 158 minus 17 minus 24, and that whole screen's going to light up like a Christmas tree, and you just ruined the whole market on that game. So what Brian means by quiet betting, right? When we've been entrusted, because we have a lot of ways. For instance, let's say we have a group that's excellent at a certain sport. They don't have that many outs, so they'll contact Brian and me and say, listen, we're going to give you guys these games ahead of time. We want $15,000 a play. And Brian and I look at each other and say, well, we can get 20. We have enough outs to get 20,000 down quietly, off screen. What that means is books that are like with your local bookmaker, per head shops, your Vietnamese books, all these off-screen shops. Over there, you can bet forever that never hits the screen. It's totally stealth and under the radar. So what we would do is we would take our time. They'd give us 5-10 minutes perhaps, and we'd get our time and get down our $20,000 off-screen. Then we would relay back to them, check, your bet is in. We got our 5, we gave them their 15. So it's like a trade. They gave us great info, and we were able to bet for them and for us, and the screen stayed quiet and full of integrity. And tell them, Brian, like what happens when one of our places leaks it and blows it? What happens to our sources?
A lot of yelling and screaming.
Oh, my God.
A lot of people start throwing things, and a lot of finger pointing goes on. And it's not always clear who the leak was. A lot of times the guy giving you the play is going to tell you he knows who the leak is. A lot of times he doesn't. But it doesn't. But I will say that, have you ever done this? I think we've all done this. Somebody gives you a play and says, hey, Frank, I want $15,000 on this. And you say, okay, what's the play? And you look at it and you say to yourself, there's no way I'm going to get $15,000 on this. So you maybe tell the guy, all right, I got you 15,000, but you didn't. And you're hoping that, enough time goes by, 10, 20 minutes. If you're high enough in the pecking order and he's got people beneath you, well, maybe you can be a little bit more aggressive and kind of nibbling on places that aren't 100% quiet. They're kind of in the gray area. And that happens every day.
But I got myself in some jams like that. You know what I mean? We're like, so now I just come to the guy and I look at my off-screen quiet outs and I call him back and I say, brother, I can get 2 for myself and we can get you 8. Take it or leave it. But at least you're clear with the guy and you're honest. I've gotten myself in some jackpots where I said, you got 15 and I only got like 6 or 7. The next thing you know, the line moves 3 points and now you're stuck with a hot potato.
You're booking it.
Yeah.
You're booking it at that point.
You got a hot potato, you know?
You're quickly looking to see, is there live betting on this?
But here's the importance. I'll tell you, we got about 20 seconds. I guess I'll wait for you. We'll come back. We'll wrap this up because I had a real good story on an analogy of quiet betting, but that's a good point, Brian. We'll be back here. We got about 10 seconds. I can hear the music now. It's all right, folks. This has been Oklahoma Brian and Frank. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. That was a little segment on quiet betting. Fifth Street Sports. We'll be back.
All right, you're clear.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit, and 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez. alongside my co-host from Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma Brian. We almost wrapped up that last segment on quiet betting, but Brian, you made a really good point about keeping it quiet so that your sources stay. And like we said, folks, once in a while, even on an off-screen shop, a guy you've been beaten to death, a bookmaker, he goes into your account, and next thing you know, he's telling 4 of his buddies, follow these bets, and sure enough, the screen blows up. And you're right, when the screen blows up and they've given us a play, I mean, the guy that's the originator that trusted you with that play, even though you know in your heart that was not your fault because you're a pro, Brian, it's exactly like when you go into a Wells Fargo or one of the banks in your area the next time and you see like a 9-month-old baby, just take that lollipop from him. That's what those guys sound like. That's what those guys sound like. But I was in Vegas 55 years, and this is one of the reasons why whenever these guys call you on the phone and hey, this is so and so, and I'm 80%, and if I don't, and I go 10 and I've been 10-0 and 58-3, and just hang up, because if he was good, this is in our business. Quiet and stealth is so important. I'll never forget, I was a little boy about 8 years old, and I used to go, my father took me everywhere. There used to be a downtown attorney here in Vegas, and he represented all the mob and the mafia guys and everything. He had a big sailfish on his wall, and underneath it had a plaque. And I was only 8 years old, and I went up there one day and I read the little plaque, and right in the little plaque it said, if he would have kept his mouth shut, he would have never got caught. So why don't you, for about another 3 or 4 minutes, explain to them the importance of stealth.
So obviously we live in a digital age, and I just make a call. We're never going to get through all of this in one show, and that's okay because we need material for other shows, I suppose. But I'll make a couple of points on why stealth is important and how people underestimate or I guess don't realize how they're not very stealth. I read a great book this summer. I recommend everyone pick this up if you get a chance. It's a book called Data versus Goliath. Not David, but Data versus Goliath.
I like that.
Yeah. It's by a guy named Bruce Shire. It's a book basically about cybersecurity, and basically the premise of the book is that we're unknowingly giving out data. We don't realize it, but just like the Industrial Revolution, there was coal being emitted with everything that was made. In our current, landscape, it's data. You're producing data with everything you do, whether you go to the gas pump, you go to the grocery store, and that extends all the way into betting. And that comes with there's a consequence to that. There's people that are harvesting information of really good bettors. And I know a lot of these guys are good friends of mine, and they're fantastic. You wouldn't believe the tools they have. So if you're a sharp bettor, professional bettor, I think there's a lot of clues that bettors leave behind that they don't realize. And by being a stealth bettor, what I mean is not only are we not going to move the screen in the present, but also we're going to be very careful about not letting our data leak out all over the place, so that plagiarizers, and I'm a plagiarizer, but people like me will come in and steal your data. So I'd say one of the biggest mistakes people make, I think of this happens every year. Think of, say, the end of October, Frank, on a Wednesday morning, right? Think of the kind of conversations we might be having late October, early November, as the weather changes in North America, and we start to have these really big weather games, right? Usually someone like myself or you or other bettors might identify them as early as, say, Monday, but maybe we're trying to keep our powder dry, waiting to see what the weather's going to be like on Saturday. And by the time we get to Wednesday, it's go time. You're either going to bet these or you're not. You want to get down probably a lot on these. It's a challenge because Wednesday afternoon, it's hard to get down on a total. So I got to think to myself, how can I bet this quietly and still get a pretty decent bet size? And so I'm going to have to think of, all right, I got, 47 outs. in what order can I bet these so that I get the maximum amount? I'm going to want to start at the outer margins of the books that are loosely connected to the rest of the universe, that nobody sees, that don't talk to anyone else. And the very last books are going to be what we call those screen books, the books that everybody has eyes on. In terms of the rotation number, here's a mistake I see people make every year. And I even see a lot of really, really sharp bettors make this mistake, and it astounds me that people fall for this trap. If I gave you a list of 10 games to bet, Frank, and I said go bet them, what would be the most logical way to bet them? It would be anything other than the rotation order. And you see people do that all the time. They start at the top of the rotation and they go down.
Right.
And you're given an incredible opportunity for the guy who's following you to basically tee off on you, because he knows these games are coming from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen. So if you really want to keep this on the down low, you're going to mix it up. Jump to the bottom of the screen. Go to the middle of the screen. If you have an over, this is a great time to use it, because if you're betting 8 unders in a row on MAC games or Big Ten games, on October 30th, so predictable. A smart guy is going to, after the 4th game, he's going to say, whoa, something's going on with this guy just went under on Eastern Michigan. Now he just went under on Northern Illinois. Now he just went under on Akron. There's a pattern here. And he's gonna jump all over your stuff, and you're not gonna even get to the bottom of your list. So mix it up. If you have an over on a game, that is the time to bet it, so that it's not predictable. So mixing up the rotation, that's a huge thing. Don't always feel like you have to bet the limits. That's a huge mistake that people make.
Exactly. Exactly. Plus, but what about one of our? And then, they're all pissed off, all these pros right now, because we're giving you guys some really, really deep information secrets. Like, you guys are getting stuff right from the headquarters here, right, of professional and high tech betting. Brian, what about the fact sometimes when you have these 47 books on a Wednesday? Their limits might be 300, 500. Remember how we used to then sometimes take that, let's say it's game 148 Maryland, okay? And wow, we got to try to get all this down, and we only got $300 and $500 limits because we can't hit the screen. So we would just take
parlay.
That's right. You just do a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but like 5 parlays to another day with that game, two teamers, you can buy back the other side.
Or if you happen to have 8 games at the same moment, there's your round robin scenario right there. Round robin is your friend at that point, right? Because
exactly.
I mean, and round robin's a fascinating bet, by the way, because it's so misunderstood by both bettors and bookmakers. And I think you have to be careful when betting round robins into a paperhead out. People get paperhead outs and they think the bookmaker, has a lot of money. You would be shocked at how many paperhead outs are being booked by 25-year-olds. Guy makes a little bit of money as a poker player. Next thing you know, he's trying to book his friends, and he's got 30 guys in a paperhead out. Well, that works until someone cracks them on, for $50,000 in a weekend.
That's right.
So be careful with when you bet those.
Right. In fact, why don't we make that a point? We've been burned so much. When you're going to do your round robins, let's say you have eight great games and you want to round robin them by 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. You know that if you hit gin, it's going to be a phone number. You're gonna win a phone number from this guy. This is a local guy that's paying $8 to $10 a head, and he gives it out to 20 of his guys to bet. You're either not going to get paid, you're going to bury this guy, you're going to get kicked out. So if you hit gin, you're in trouble. So I would save all of those for the end at the big books that are going to pay you, like Pinnacle, Chris, all your 5-star books that have deep funded things like this. So you're right. Keep your round robins to a very minimum. Remember, you're beating a guy heads up. And first of all, they don't like to lose anything, let alone some clown they think that just beat them for 70 or 80,000, That takes away a lot of the play,
I always think a great rule of thumb, somebody taught me this rule, a long time ago, 15 years ago, and I've always stuck to it. When somebody gives you an account with a credit limit, say a $10,000 credit limit, in your mind, make a mental note. This guy's probably going to be hard to collect for more than $10,000. In other words, if the credit limit's $10,000, don't try to win more than $10,000 from that one particular guy, or you're asking for trouble. I'm not saying that you're not going to collect it, but it's it's you're really taking a big chance with that. So that's a big one. Now, what about this scenario, Frank? What if you have to pick a game to parlay it with? I'm curious, when you have to do that, how do you go about picking the filler, as we call it, for those parlays?
Right. So now the object behind that is because on a two-teamer, you're getting plus 260, 270, or 280, and you're trying to circumvent the limits by betting more of a parlay. So I would take my A game, which is the game that we're supposed to be on. Let's say I bet it 10 times, 10 $500 two-teamers. I would go through the board on my second one. I would go through the board where I could find a half a point better, something I really like, because I may be buying back the other side. You know what I mean? But necessarily, if you're just a 50-50 handicapper and you go 5-5 on those on those 10 games that you happen to fill it in, that's fine. You're getting plus 260, 270.
Yeah, that's right.
Wrap it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we got to wrap it now, or we got 20? I thought we had 30 seconds. Go ahead and wrap it up. Okay, guys, we'll be right back. Now, stay tuned for the next segment. We're going to actually start our contest and give out our selections. Oklahoma Brian, Frank will be back. 5th Street Sports.
You're clear.
Shop Lowe's Spring Black Friday and get great savings to help with those outdoor projects popping up on your to-do list. Add beautiful color to pots and garden beds and save with select pine annuals 5 for $5. And grow beautiful flowers and delicious veggies with Miracle Grow garden soil. 5 bags are just $10. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 4/18. Actual plant size and selection may vary by store. While supplies last, see store for details. U.S. only.
Everyone likes to, scrapbook. You scrapbook on the couch, the kitchen counter, and your favorite place to scrapbook, the bedroom. And what could possibly make scrapbooking any better? KY Duration. With KY Duration Spray, men everywhere are scrapbooking longer, and that's great for their partners who really enjoy scrapbooking too. So go ahead, scrapbook tonight with KY Duration Spray for men. Last longer, stay in the moment, use as directed.
I had great results. I lost 70 pounds. I weighed 265 and went down to 195. My doctor told me, if it works for you, then do it. A lot of people say to me, how did you lose the weight? I said, I take Andro 400 every day. I'm going to take it forever.
That was Walt talking about Andro 400. Now listen to what Bob has to say.
When you listen to your radio commercials, you say that's not possible, but since I've experienced it, your commercials aren't strong enough. I am 76, and I've had a belly for way too long. My whole body is shrinking. My energy level has gone up, and the only thing different is Andro 400. It's great stuff. I tried other products, and nothing happened.
Guys, if you'd like to lose stubborn belly fat, gain energy, and feel years younger, try Andro 400, the safe, natural, and affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435. andro400.com.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's HomeAdvisor. HomeAdvisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, and even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that HomeAdvisor is completely free to use.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
HomeAdvisor. I noticed my neighbor place a broken lawn chair by his curb. Naturally, I repaired it on the spot using JB Weld Original Cold Weld Formula Epoxy, then took off my shirt and laid down to enjoy the sun. When the family came home and saw a guy sunning himself on their lawn, they yelled, "Hey you, get out of our yard." But I know their hearts were yelling, "We were idiots for throwing that lawn chair away. Thanks for teaching us about conservation." Don't toss it, JB Weld it.
Welcome back. This is Frank Perez from 5th Street Sports. along with my co-host Oklahoma Brian. All right, folks, on this segment over here, we're finally getting started. We kind of think college football kind of officially starts for us tomorrow. NFL football next week. So what we've decided to do in studio is every Friday, Brian is going to release his top 5 with the spread, and we got Andrew here as our referee, so we're not cheating on the lines. And I'm going to release my top 5. We're going to do this for 20 weeks. It's going to be 100 selections. At the end of the 100 selections, we'll see who has the best record. The one of us with the worst record on our February Super Bowl party, when all of our team gets together and we come out to Vegas to have the big, huge steak dinner with all the wine and stuff, the loser's got to pay for the dinner. So Brian, now how do you want to give this out here to the guys? You want to go one at a time because we each got 5?
Yeah. Let's go back and forth one at a time. But just to be clear, you said football starts tomorrow. I was going to use a game for tonight. Is that okay?
Excuse me, guys. Starts tonight. In fact, it started yesterday, but we're using tonight's games and then the rest of the weekend.
I can't use my play I gave out yesterday, can I?
Gosh, no, because then I got to use mine. And big advantage.
Okay.
I can't lay you one game. You're too good. I know over here you found the live one here in me because you're gonna probably crush me. But
I've been in a few contests with you. You're no slouch.
Well, here we go. Why don't you go first? Who do you like?
Okay. Well, I'm going to use tonight's game first. Okay, so I'm going to use a game for tonight, and I'm going to use Western Kentucky, and I believe I'm getting 37 on the Hilltoppers.
Okay, Andrew, now are you going to put those up on the screen so that people can see? Western Kentucky plus 37. Okay, and our referee has given you the thumbs up, so that's good. You got Western Kentucky. There they are, baby. You got okay. Those are official now. We got Andrew as the referee. All right. There they are. I mean, now it's out of the bag. I'm going to go with Army tonight plus 14 against Duke.
But I will say, probably about 1% of the people hearing this actually see this graphic, so don't assume that everyone can see it. We'll still go through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. For all this. Okay, so you got game 145, Western Kentucky plus 37. I got game 159, Army plus 14. You're next.
All right, so I generally try to stay away from plays that are pretty public. My next play is very public, but I really, really like this team this year. And that team is North Texas. And I'm laying 4.5. It opened 3.5. It's moved a full point. I don't care. I think North Texas takes care of SMU pretty easily.
So you're going to, okay, I am going to go with game 174, Maryland at home against Texas, getting 13.5. Maryland is notoriously very, very good on home openers for the season at home. Texas is not that good on the road. I'm going to take Maryland plus 13.5.
This is isn't this a revenge spot for Texas? I think Maryland's gotten to them recently, right? And Maryland's in a little bit of disarray with the coaching situation, I think.
That's why I like it. Like the more of those things you say, the better I like it.
Okay, because I'm not releasing it, but I actually like Texas in that game.
Okay.
But so okay, all right. So you got Army and Maryland so far. I have Western Kentucky and North Texas. All right, I'm going to add a third game, Texas Tech minus 2.5.
Texas Tech minus 2.5. All right, tell me a little bit about that game.
Well, this will really undermine the credibility of this play, but I'm a Texas Tech graduate. So I do follow Texas Tech closely, and they are in a little bit of a rebuilding situation, but boy, so is Ole Miss. And I really think the home advantage in Lubbock is one of the most underrated home advantages there is in football. It's up over 3,000 feet elevation, which is always surprising to people. It can be windy, hot. I actually think this game's a big over, but we're not releasing totals. So, I'm
You're going to cough.
Texas Tech?
Okay.
All right. My next game is game 218. I'm going to take LSU plus 3.5 at home against Miami of Florida. And the reason I'm taking this is the season opener. I think this LSU team might be the real deal here. They might be a lot better than people think. And I know that people that like to lay points at LSU, this is what they call it, that's called the swamp down there, right? You okay, Brian? Oh, okay, he's Brian. So I'm gonna take LSU at home, getting 3.5, because I know people that like to lay points at LSU or in the swamp or these big SEC games. Believe me, most of these people are giving blood twice a week. So I'm gonna take LSU plus 3.5.
Boy, that's a really, really spooky line, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I was stunned when I saw it at 2.5. Then it was 3. Now it's 3.5. I'm with you. I know LSU is supposed to be down, but I just think that's too many points for a team with too many athletes. Public's all over Miami. I'm not releasing LSU, but I certainly would only bet that side. Okay, all right. So game 205 is my next game. Washington State laying 1.5 against Wyoming. Wyoming looked decent last week on national TV playing New Mexico State, but I'm not sure how much credit I give to Wyoming. That's a bad New Mexico State team. I feasted on them again last night with my Minnesota play. I like Washington State here. And Washington State's a team that notoriously takes advantage of teams with unathletic defenses and tends to really have a hard time with the athletic defenses in the Pac-10 or Pac-12. Sorry. I think this is a good spot for Washington State, but I'm playing them minus 1.5.
I'm going to take game 190. Now, I know last year, I think UNLV started. What UNLV was like a 40-point favorite last year when they opened against Howard or one of those teams like that and lost outright. Was that right? Who was it? Was it UNLV in the home opener last year that lost? They were a 40-point favorite. I think Baylor was too. Remember that parlay paid like 1,500 to 1 or something?
I remember Baylor because they lost to Liberty, and that's going to come up in a second. Who did UNLV lose to? I don't remember.
I think it was a school named Howard. Howard was the name of the school.
Yes, okay.
They were 40
Washington,
point
D.C.
favorites. So
I remember that. Yeah.
I'm going to take game 190, USC minus 26. They're at home against this UNLV team. Now, USC is trying to crack the elite. You know what I mean? They're not there. I don't think, it's Clemson and Alabama and that. But in order to crack the elite, they better beat this UNLV team by, 35 or more. So I'm going to take USC minus 26 over UNLV.
One thing I've always noticed about you, I'm sure you'll remember the same thing. One of my favorite trends in betting college football is follow the steam on UNLV games. It's one of the most remarkable things in all of betting. Steam on UNLV football games wins at a higher rate than anything I can identify. So we'll see where the money shows up on that game, but that makes sense. You got a true freshman starting for USC. You don't see that every day.
No, but I think he's supposed to be the real deal.
Yeah.
Well, now here comes your game number 5. Here's a surprising one for you.
I know this kind of reminds me of our show that we had last week with Ron. So this is the only team in Division 1. Well, we used to call it Division 1A. We now call it the FBS. The only team moving up to the FBS this year is Liberty. And this is a kind of a tough spot. They're playing Old Dominion, who's a lot of kind of a darling of a lot of people that follow these smaller conferences. They're getting 6. I'm doing a little bit of reading about this Liberty team, and they're loaded. They held a lot of players, but redshirted a lot of players last year. They could have played. They're coached by Turner Gill, who had a lot of success until he ran into the head coaching job at Kansas, but that's ruined many people's career. He's on the rebound at Liberty, and I think this is going to be a dangerous team the rest of the year. Circle this game, circle this team. If you follow the sharp money, you're going to find yourself on this Liberty team throughout the year. Hold your nose and enjoy.
All right, here's my game 203. I think this North Carolina team plus 7.5 against this California squad. North Carolina, do you think that they underachieved last year a little bit? They were supposed to be a much better team than that.
I think they've underachieved for the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lot of NFL talent and that can never seem to put together 3 or 4 games in a row. They always end the year very strong, and then they don't pick up strong. Where they've left off. So yeah, I think it's a loaded team.
This 7.5. I guess I'm going to bite on it. I like North Carolina plus 7.5. So there's our 5 against 5. Boy, this is going to be fun. I hope it stays close so we can keep it down to the end. I don't want to be one of these things where I got to resign to you in week 17 because you got a 16-game lead or something. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's going to happen. Do you have any? Do you have any really big dogs you like to win outright this week? Not necessarily for our contest, but just
man. You know what? I mean, we're out here in Vegas, and one of our residents and partners, Chris, he's got a big insight. He says there's $130,000 parlay came in on Wisconsin, $30,000 straight up, $10,000. I mean, they bet this Wisconsin like the other team's got a bunch of little girls on it.
Oh, okay. You're saying that there's a lot of smart money lining up on Wisconsin?
No, I didn't say smart. I said big money.
Oh, yeah, the public's all over. The public's all over Wisconsin, and of course, I'm opposite of them with Western Kentucky. One thing that worries me about this game is Wisconsin's notoriously a very successful team as a big favorite, especially in the first 2 weeks. So I kind of feel like I'm going into a buzzsaw, but I'm also taking 37 points on a game that opened 34. I see the public betting Wisconsin, hand over fist. every one from the public seems to be on Wisconsin, so that's enough to make me want to take Western Kentucky.
And Coast went to 38 on this game, which is big because now you're talking 5 touchdowns and a field goal. You need more than that to beat you. But when they say when they start saying this guy bet 100,000 on on Wisconsin, and this guy's got a $30,000 parlay and 10 that. Brother, I've been out here since 1964. With that and $1.95, you can get a cup of coffee in almost any of these gas stations. Because I'm serious. That doesn't mean nothing to me. Anybody that was quiet and didn't care, they would have trickled 5,000 across the entire valley at 35.5, 36. A guy says, "Oh, I bet 100,000." I'm like, believe me, those games go down so much. That's not smart. I don't think it's smart money. Put it that way.
I'm going to throw out a play. Okay, if I'm right, I'm a genius. If I'm wrong, it was just a funny joke. I'm going to pick Nicholls State to beat Kansas outright tomorrow.
Oh, wait a second. How many are they getting?
On the spread, they're getting like 9.5, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to win outright.
Nicholas State plus 9.5 outright against Kansas.
Nicholls State, yeah.
Nicholls State plus 9.5. Hey, guys, take that in. Brian's really good on these games. I would have to, why don't you put that on your plate a little bit for tomorrow? Not recommending it, but I'm just saying really, really good value play there.
It'll get back in the morning,
Brian,
for
sure. Could you imagine, I'm hearing the little music again. We got 15 seconds. I guess we're going to come back. We'll wrap it up. We'll tell you about next week's shows. We got 2 special guests coming in next week. This has been Oklahoma. Brian and Frank will be back in 3 minutes to wrap up the show. Thank you.
Pedro Fernandez here. You might know me as...
Hey, Frank.
Hello.
Frank?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys doing a show Monday?
Gosh, I don't know, brother. Should we talk to the boss? I mean, I wouldn't mind taking it off, but don't get me wrong.
No, that's fine. I just need to know one way or the other.
Wait, hang on a second, Nick. Hey, we'll get him after the show, and he'll call you.
Okay, yeah, just tell him let me know about both shows on Monday.
You got it. Thanks.
Okay, buddy. Good show today.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, now keep in mind that I don't know how Dom exactly does the show when he does it, but I roll the music 1 minute before the break. So you'll hear that underneath you. It doesn't mean you have to rush right out, but you'll get it 1 minute before the break.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez with Oklahoma Brian. We're getting ready to wrap up the show. By the way, we are on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. You can find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports, on the web at FifthStreetSports.com. Guys, we had a good show today. We wrapped up the quiet betting to this, and then we started our in-house contest, Oklahoma versus Las Vegas. He gave you his 5, my 5. By the way, we should have brought a listener in here, because if the listener who had the best record, when we took a contest, he could have joined us at the dinner, for the one that's paying, for the loser that's paying.
How about this? How about if I win the contest, we have to do the show from Oklahoma for a week?
Ooh, I would like to do it. I've never been to Oklahoma. I mean, it'd be fun to me. But Brian, I was going to tell you, okay, we got some notes. We have some notes here for next week. We got a couple of really interesting guests for next week. On Tuesday, we're going to have Waz from Betor IQ. He's confirmed. He was supposed to be on last Tuesday, but he got a sore throat, couldn't make it. On Friday, we got Dr. Kathleen Nash coming on. I know you're going to think of Dr. Nash. What's this got to do with sports and betting and sports talk? Big time. It's behind the scenes thing. She's had, look at me. I mean, she does a transformation program. You're going to feel much better, be alert, aware. Tell me that's not going to help you if you're a poker player, if you're in front of this, if you're in front of a betting screen forever and you're feeling great, confident. God, the time goes so fast over here. I'm telling you, it's like when you took your high school sweetheart out to the movies. Before you know it, it's time to go.
I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Frank, tell the doctor if she comes next Friday, she better have 5 plays with her.
She does. I think she likes to play. She's really cool. You're going to love her. Dr. Kathleen Nash on transformation. It's going to help out your overall efficiency, your stamina, alertness. Guys, it's been a great show. Thanks, Brian. Great ideas. And everybody, thank you for listening into Fifth Street Sports. This has been Frank Perez with Oklahoma Brian. We're signing off for the weekend. Good luck. No chasing, no steaming. Remember, that's in our mission statement. Have a nice weekend.
Good show, guys. We'll talk to you Monday, if you're on.